When we say Pinoy Kakanin, Puto almost always becomes part of the conversation. So today, let's make soft and fluffy Puto cheese at home. This recipe uses simple ingredients and doesn't require fermentation, unlike traditional Puto. As always, the complete list of ingredients with their approximate cost will be shown at the end of the video. Let's start with our wet ingredients. In a large mixing bowl, crack in 3 large eggs. Then whisk until the eggs are fully combined. Next, pour in 208 grams of sweetened condensed milk, or 1 small can. If you want a sweeter puto, you can adjust the amount and add more. Personally, I prefer it not too sweet, so this amount is just perfect for me. Next, add 140 ml of evaporated creamer, or 1 small can. You can also use evaporated milk if that's what you have. If you don't have evaporated milk or creamer, fresh milk can also work as a substitute. Next, add 4 tablespoons of melted butter. You can melt the butter on the stovetop using a pan over low heat or microwave it for 20 to 30 seconds on high, just until melted. Don't let it boil. Next, this is optional but highly recommended. Add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract or vanilla flavoring to make the puto more aromatic. Then add 600 ml of water, then mix until fully combined. After mixing, set it aside. Then let's prepare our dry ingredients. In a separate bowl, sift 500 grams of all-purpose flour. Sifting removes lumps and adds air, helping our puto turn out light and fluffy. Traditionally, puto is made by fermenting rice overnight and turning it into a rice batter the next day, which gives it a slightly tangy flavor and a soft, airy texture. But in this recipe, we're using all-purpose flour and no fermentation, so it's faster and foolproof, perfect for home cooking. Next, add 1 small pack or 50 grams of double-acting baking powder. Make sure to use double-acting baking powder and not baking soda. Double-acting reacts twice, once when mixed with the wet ingredients and again when steamed, so your puto turns out light and fluffy every time. Next, pour in the wet ingredients to the dry. Then, gently mix it until fully combined. Remember to be gentle. Overmixing develops gluten, which can make the puto dense. It's a good idea to use a silicone spatula instead of a whisk in this step. The batter was a little bland, so I added 100 grams or about half a cup of sugar. I used washed sugar because that's what I had, but it's generally better to use white granulated sugar for puto. Mix it well until fully combined and let it rest for 10 to 15 minutes to give the baking powder enough time to do its thing. While our batter is resting, slice 100 to 110 grams of Pinoy processed cheese. If Pinoy cheese isn't available in your area, you can also use cheddar cheese. Slice it however you like. Some people prefer long strips, like this one, while others slice it into squares, like this one. To make our job easier, I'll be using a batter dispenser. This helps pour the batter evenly and neatly into the molds and reduces spills. If you don't have a batter dispenser, you can simply use a spoon or a small ladle to scoop and pour the batter into each mold. In this recipe, we'll be using medium-sized plastic puto molders. Look for the number 307 molder. Some molders don't have the 307 print, instead they might say HP12. These ones are typically sold in dozens, but they work the same way. You can find them at local baking supply shops or you can buy them online. Others like to grease the molds with cooking oil to prevent the puto from sticking. You can do that if you want, but I've always made puto without greasing and haven't had any issues with sticking. Honestly, it's a bit of a hassle and using ungreased molds actually helps. The slight friction gives the puto a better rise. When the molds are greased, the batter can just slide, which may affect how well the puto rises when steamed. Next, fill the puto molders about a quarter of the way full. Filling the molds only a quarter full gives the puto enough room to rise without overflowing. Try to keep the batter level in each mold so they cook evenly. Next, top each one with a sliced cheese. Carefully place them on top so they don't sink into the batter. Make sure to use regular processed cheese. Before, when I was playing around with this recipe, I used melting cheese. After cooking the puto, I opened the steamer and was surprised that all the cheese toppings were gone. The cheese melted right into the batter, so it looked like regular puto with no cheese on top. It still tasted good, but it didn't look like your classic Pinoy puto cheese. Next, heat up your steamer until it reaches full boil. Make sure the water is already boiling before placing the puto inside. It's important to cook the puto over high heat. Steaming on a high helps the puto rise properly and gives it that soft, fluffy texture. If the heat is too low, the puto may cook slowly and unevenly. Instead of rising nicely, it can turn dense or gummy. Steam the puto for 8 to 10 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. Be patient and avoid opening the lid too early, as this can cause the puto to collapse. This recipe will yield more or less 65 to 70 pieces of puto depending on how you fill your molds. If your steamer is on the smaller side, like this one, you can steam the puto in batches. Just remember to gently mix the batter from time to time before pouring, so everything stays evenly combined. This helps prevent the batter from settling at the bottom, especially when steaming multiple batches. If you have a bigger steamer, that's even better. You can cook more or even all the puto at once. Finish faster and keep the texture consistent. It also cuts down on cost since you'll use less gas or electricity by steaming everything in fewer batches. It's even better if you have a bamboo steamer. Bamboo steamers absorb excess moisture, which helps prevent water droplets from dripping onto the puto, ensuring a better looking and better textured dish. Once they're done steaming, remove the puto from the steamer. Let it cool down slightly before removing them from the molders. Maybe about 5 to 10 minutes would be enough. As you can see, the puto comes out the molds easily, even without creasing. You'll notice they're soft, airy, and evenly risen, with the cheese slightly melted on top. This non-fermented method makes puto much faster and more convenient, while still giving you that classic taste and texture. It's a great option for home cooking and parties. You can even sell these. They're consistent, cost-efficient, and easy to scale, making them great for a small kakanin business. Here's a full list of ingredients I used along with their approximate cost. You can pause the video or take a screenshot so you can have it for later. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think about this easy puto cheese recipe or how it turned out for you. Subscribe for more easy recipes, and if you're interested in another easy recipe, click the link on your screen right now. Thank you for cooking with me, and I'll see you in the next one.